Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Coach Cheeks, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 3 most broken champions for each role in patch 13.13. But to be honest, we can get into all these champions, guys. Like, everyone is a player here watching this video, bro. Like, you're probably not going to improve. I can give you tips and stuff as far as builds and runes, etc. go. But if you think about Faker, for example, yeah? Faker, using any of our mouse and keyboard, is still going to be Faker. If we were to use Faker's mouse and keyboard, we're still going to be the same player, yeah? We don't change based on the equipment we use. In other words, like the champions we use. Of course, micro is important. You have to know how to play the champions well enough here to be able to climb. But what I'm saying, man, is like how you play the game is way more important. The tools you use, it really doesn't matter all too much as long as you're not building like def cap on Jax, even though that would probably work, to be honest. So yes, to actually improve at this game, make sure you check out the content, the courses, the guides, the high-low VOD analyses, the coaching sessions we have on GameLeap.com. Our website is linked in the description and comment section. We have the best videos on there that are helping thousands of people at the moment. So get signed up just like them to get access to that content. Now, getting into the top 3 broken champions for each role, we'll start on the top lane. And at number 3, we have Rock Solid, this being Malphite. I don't really recommend, guys, maybe like, you know, blind picking Malphite because there's a bunch of like champions that do well against him. So if it's something like a Silas, obviously, if it's a Mordekaiser, lots of tanks do well against him because Malphite struggles against these in lane. He's really good, obviously, against attack damage champions. Tanks, for the most part, like, don't care about that. And he can have a hard time just trading with his Q right and his W. Doesn't really do much to them. So just be careful of blind picking him. But overall, the champion is kind of nutty in every single elo, even in higher elos when he is probably picked as a counter pick for the most part. He does very well. So Malphite is here, just a very solid top laner, literally, and you should probably have him in your champion pool. Now, number 2, a champion who you can blind pick is probably one of the few blind pickable top laners at the moment, this being Fiora. Now, again, you might want to like ban certain champions, like Quinn can destroy you. A champion like Poppy is also good, right, because she can block your Qs. But for the most part, man, because of all the new items that came in, like Fiora, you can build literally anything. If you're against a bunch of HP, you can just build Divine Sunderer. If you're really snowballing and you're against a bunch of squishy champions, you can just go Trinity Force or even Stride Breaker now, which is amazing into ranged champions, right, because of the slow. Gives you the stickiness you need to actually stick to them and to get off your vital procs as well. Of course, you can run something like Conqueror in laning phase if you want to be like super aggressive into someone, like the trades are going to be extended and you would win them if they're extended, or you can just go, because it's a harder matchup, Grasp the Undying, you know, with that Mana Flow Scorch setup and still be the most annoying champion in the game. So Fiora is number 2. Stats as well are still insane at the moment, and they will be for 13.13 as well. But the number 1 top lane, I kind of mentioned him in the introduction. You can build a def cap on this guy. You can build anything, to be honest, man. This champion's number 1. This is the Grandmaster at Arms, this being Jax. So for Jax in 13.13 next patch, bro, nothing's going to change here, man. Like, if you're picking Jax, if you're banning Jax, the champion is still absolutely cracked. He scales so well. He really doesn't have like many weaknesses. Yes, he might be able to get like kited, okay? I understand that. But the fact like you're empowered auto attack is every 2 auto attacks now, and with a max W, it's too insane, bro. Just like Fiora, you can go something like Lethal Tempo into extended trading lanes that you can win. You can go Grasp into hard matchups. You got a bunch of options, right? And as far as your build goes as well, you can offer Trinity Force if you're really snowballing and you know the enemy top laner isn't going to build a lot of HP. Just up to you guys and what's actually happening in the top lane. But yeah, Jax, Fiora, Malphite are your top laners for 13.13. Moving into the jungle, number 3, a champion getting buffed next patch. This is Lee Sin. And the best thing about Lee Sin next patch is, yes, that your Q's AD ratio is getting buffed. Now, they did put in a base damage buff for your Q. And if those go through, it's like 10 for each part of your Q. If they go through, man, it's probably going to like break the game. Well, in higher elos anyway. Like, he'll be picked and banned in pro. But if these attack damage ratios go through, well, they will improve him. But honestly, like, I don't think he's going to be super OP. And I've just put him here because if you can really play him, it will matter. Like, even if you're going some sort of lethality build, maybe with Eclipse or something, you'll be dealing a lot of damage with the new buff Lee Sin. So that's why I've put him here. In lower elos, yes, the stats are not going to back me up. But as a champion, if you can master him, he will be very strong. And again, if you want to master any of these champions, guys, check out the website down below. Now, number 2, as far as the jungle role goes, we have Rengar. How this champion isn't getting nerfed, I've got no idea. In before every Rengar main just crucifies me in the comment section, but boys, how could I not put him here? Like, he is broken. Let's be honest. The number of Rengar players I've coached, the number of Rengars I've like just seen in higher elo, I think he's incredible when you actually can play the champion. Yes, I understand he's hard to play, and I'm all for skill expression, but not when you're playing like one of the most innately broken champions in the game. The damage, the sustain, the kite, the difficulty in just killing an assassin, like, it shouldn't be this difficult to kill a Rengar when he jumps into like 3 people, especially with the new Dustblade as well, right? It's so busted on him, and the stats again, like, he's got 53, 54% win rates across the board. So Rengar's number 2. But if you guys want to play an AP jungler, the best jungler, probably like of all time at the moment, I don't think there's going to be a stronger jungler than Nidalee in 13.13 because she's getting her movement speed buffed by 5. I don't know, it sounds like a bit of a meme, right? Like, who cares about 5 movement speed? But it does matter, especially for a champion whose passive, right, is going to help her go through brushes quicker. This gives her more agency, man. It lets her get into positions to gank better. Like everything, right, gets affected by movement speed. And maybe it will even get to the point where if you rush like Sork Shoes on Nidalee, maybe with like a Dark Seal, you're just going to break the game. If you get any sort of lead on this champion, well, the enemy team might as well FF. Nidalee mains, by the way, if you are out there and any junglers, let me know in the comment section what you actually think of Nidalee getting another buff despite being really strong anyway. Now, moving into the mid lane here, guys, this was really interesting because, to be honest, I think mid lane is pretty balanced. There might be some pretty trash champions who probably deserve more buffs, but as far as the top 3 goes, this is pretty difficult. So feel free again to like leave your thoughts in the comment section. Maybe give me your 3 best mid laners down below. But yeah, my best 3 of these. So number 3 is Azir. And I know what you guys are thinking. How can Azir be here? Bro, like W-Max Azir is actually legit. Like in high reloads, this champion, when piloted again, because he is difficult to play, as long as you're not Eing in like a complete lunatic and you're saving a soldier so you can W-E out. Be careful of using your Q if the jungler is in fog. Try to Q the enemy mid laner when they're going for minions, yeah? Don't want to be wasting anything on this champion. It's very important to have a clean laning phase. And again, we will teach you that on our website. But to be honest, if piloted properly by a good mid laner, I think Azir is very, very strong. He's a blind pickable champion as well. You might have to be a little bit careful of something like maybe Tristana or something that can like jump into you very quickly, right? So maybe ban something like that. For the most part, man, like I'm happy having Azir mid. Gives you insane priority. You can go a variety of builds as well. You can go Leandra's Anguish into tankier compositions. You can go Crown of the Shadow Queen. You can even go like Shadow Flame afterwards. You don't even have to get Nash's Tooth because you have enough damage and maybe attack speed from your soldiers because you're maxing your W now. So Azir mains, let me know down below. I know we've kind of gone from like being bad to being really good, but W Max Azir ever since they changed him like towards the side of the season, I think it's real. Now, number 2 is a champion getting nerfed in 13-13, this being Nico. Guys, I don't think the nerfs are substantial enough. Yes, your Q cooldown, it might scale down now from 9 seconds to 7 seconds instead of being a flat 7 seconds, but who cares about this, man? Like, all right, laning phase is going to be a little bit more difficult for sure. Okay, of course it will be. And you're going to be maxing your Q first, right? So this will matter. You're going to get less Qs off in the laning phase, which means less damage and potentially less minions as well if you're getting pressured, right? But the key here for Nico is that you're still holding on to pretty much like everything that makes you incredibly powerful. The actual damage in your kit, especially with your ultimate, because it's scaling off like 120% of your AP, which is what they buffed a few patches ago. Yes, you might come out of your like ultimate disguise a little bit sooner. That's not why Nico is busted, man. So I still expect her win rates to be super high. She might not be as like OP as she was in this current patch, so 13-12, she's by far the best mid laner, but 13-13 just down a place. The best mid laner, guys, that I think you all should have in your champion pool because he's an amazing counter pick champion, this is Fizz. And for Fizz next patch is great because nothing is actually really affecting you, right? Lost Chapter is still 1100 gold, which helps you get to that mana early, right? You're not just using 1 or 2 E's and you're going Lost Chapter, because it's cheaper, is unreal on Fizz now, yeah? And once you get to Luden's Tempest, which again should be sooner, because Lost Chapter allows you to get more gold because you're staying in lane for longer. You're not like using 2 combos and then recalling again. You can actually stay in lane until Blasting Wand, and then when you get that, you can easily probably just like, you know, find roams around the map and kills to get to Luden's Tempest, yeah, which is 1250 now. But a bit like maybe Malphite in the top lane, be careful about blind picking Fizz because you've got so many champions that you probably don't want to go against here. Like Tristana again is an amazing counter because if Fizz ever jumps onto you, not only can you jump backwards, especially if he ults you, but you can also just pressure him in the early game. A champion like Galio will do really well, right? So there are certain picks that just completely cuck this champion, so be very careful about blind picking him. But yeah, just on the whole, he's an unreal champion and the #1 mid laner. Now moving down to the bot lane here, guys, some interesting picks here. Now number 3 for AD carries, we have a Trinity Force abuser. This is Ashe. And Ashe is kind of a surprising Trinity Force abuser, but when we actually think about it, it really makes sense because she loves what? She loves kiting. She loves auto-attacking, moving. Auto-attacking, moving. 3-fold strike passive is now 5 seconds. Amazing for this champion. 5% more attack speed, 5 more attack damage. It's just unreal for Ashe. She does so well with this item. The kite, like I said, the movement speed you get, bro, like no one's going to hit you, man. She also probably has like the highest win rates out of any AD carry. Like number 1 is probably better, like as a champion, especially when played properly. But Ashe, man, is super reliable. Great blind pick champion, doesn't really like lose any lanes. And once you do get going, it's very hard to stop. Now number 2, because guys, the support meta, right, is changing into more like, well, it's not changing, it has changed, but it's more like kind of engage oriented, right? So a champion who really loves this is an AP carry in the bot lane. This being Karthus. And I'm sure I don't have to get into too much detail here because you guys who have played against this or played this know how oppressive this stuff is. Even if you catch this guy out, as long as like a Nautilus jumps into him and you jump into him as your AD carry, all he has to do is die and he's still going to kill you probably, right? Landing a couple of Qs and then landing his ultimate, of course, which is undodgeable unless you get like some sort of item. But yeah, what I'm saying is that this champion works in this meta right now. So Karthus number 2 if you need AP. Number 1 is Draven. And just like Ashe, Trinity Force. I'm not talking, guys, about going like Dustblade or something. You can go full lethality, especially if you're snowballing it. But I think Triforce all around is just the best mythic for this champion. And I don't know why they haven't nerfed Triforce because they've nerfed Kindred. They're probably going to nerf other champions as well, especially AD carries who are abusing it. Like Zeri got nerfed, right? Probably didn't have to. Like all they have to do is put some sort of like range thing on Triforce and we're chilling. But yeah, Draven with Trinity Force, guys, is number 1. I don't really have much else to say. Now, moving into the supports, we've got 3 supports here, of course. And number 3, and by the way, guys, if you are enjoying this recent content, please let us know by leaving a like down below. We have Rakan. Rakan, just an all-around great champion. I think he's probably like one of the few blind pick supports, maybe, apart from number 1 on this countdown, because, yeah, they're just so broken. Because you do so well, like, into really anything, and you can play, like, 2 playstyles. You can play, like, peeling your AD carry, and you can also play to engage, right? Because you've got amazing mobility, and, yeah, obviously, like, chain CC, land your ultimate into a W. Maybe that's a tip I can give you guys. Way too many, like, kind of novice Rakan players and eager Rakan players, like, try to land, like, a, I don't know, max range W. You can just pop your ultimate and flash on them, guarantee W, and you chain CC them for, like, 3 seconds. So, yeah, that's one tip I can give you. But Rakan, amazing all-around support. He's number 3. Moving to number 2. It is that bit of machinery that's been put together, this being the Crank, old Blitzcrank. And Blitzcrank, guys, ever since last season, I've said this on a bunch of patch videos, ever since last season when they buffed his base damages and his Q and his ultimate, man, he's probably here to stay. Like, seriously. I don't think anything's going to change here, like, engage meta. He might do badly into some engaged champions, like if you pick, I don't know, Braum or Taric or Alistair into him, Leona does well into him. So any real beefy support does very well into Blitz, because he wants to hook champions he can one-shot. He can't one-shot those champions. He will end up getting one-shot, right? So if you're running something like Glacial, be very careful into those engages, so you probably have to run Aftershock, right? But yeah, Blitzcrank number 2, guys, stats back this up as well. But the stats really back up the number 1 champion, and despite Rel getting nerfed in 13-13, she is still keeping all of the CC, guys. Some of the changes as well were like jungle-oriented, so support Rel I still think is going to boast her same kind of like strengths, I guess, if you will, advantages that she has in terms of the CC department next patch 2. And any Rel mains out there, let me know your thoughts on the changes in the comment section. So guys, those are the 3 most broken champions for each role for 13-13. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you want more tips as well, if you find them useful in regards to rune pages or just champion mechanics and all that. And yeah, I will see you on our next season 13 upload. This has been Coach Cheeks. Bye.